from place to place, place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Tobago Updates Youth Wednesdays. I know, yes, you've been waiting to see my face this morning, and I'm happy to be here with you as well. This morning, we have a lot in store for you, but before we go on, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, 29th January 2025. Secretary of Tourism Tasha Boris believes Tobago can lead the global steel pan movement. Boris highlighted at a welcome reception for Tobago's small bands the need to take local talent internationally. She announced plans for scholarships for young arrangers and expressed pride in Tobago's pan musicians. Boris emphasized unity among Tobago's bands and anticipated fierce competition at the upcoming National Medium Band Final. With the United States reviewing its foreign aid policies, CARIBCOM Impact's head Lieutenant Colonel Michael Jones says the regional security agency must adapt. Trump's recent executive order halts most U.S. foreign aid, affecting some trading programs but not significantly disrupting operations. The Caribbean Crime Gun Intelligence Unit, the CCGIU, will continue its efforts, and Impacts will seek support from other partners, including South Korea. Some programs, like Trinidad and Tobago's civil-military coordination training, have been cancelled. Jones emphasized Impact's commitment to protecting the region despite the pause in U.S. assistance. Public Administration Minister Alison West announced the development of a remote work policy for civil servants. West highlighted a draft policy is under cabinet review following a pilot project. However, no timeline for approval was given. The ministry engaged Police Woman Constable Advisory Services Limited to assist in policy development, consulting key stakeholders. Meanwhile, Education Minister Dr. Neon Gasby-Dolly reiterated Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley's speech on education's role in preventing crime, but did not confirm any related government policies. And that was your news in 90 seconds. All right, so we continue on with everyone's favorite part of Youth Wednesdays, and need I say Tobago Updates TV. Let's head on over to our birthday segment. First up, we have the man Oriel Grant. Oriel, a happy birthday to you. I know you personally, and I know that you are going to make the best of your birthday today. So happy birthday to you from the Tobago Updates family. And our last birthday this morning is Miss Astra Webster. A happy birthday to you and God's richest blessings for you throughout the rest of the day. And like my partner who is unable to join us this morning always says, I really do hope that those of you who unfortunately did not get to send in your birthdays this morning, you all have an enjoyable day. And maybe next year, Tobago Updates will look out for your birthdays to be posted. All right, so we have a lot in store for you this morning. We have a few things to look forward to. Such as the 3rd annual Tobago Performance Survey is upcoming, and to speak on that this morning will be Karen Bart Alexander. She's a member of Tobago Civil Net. Then we'll have Mr. Kyle Joseph. A football scholarship program is to be discussed this morning, and maybe those of you who are sport enthusiasts, you all can tune in at that time, and please stay for the rest of the show. And then last but not least, we'll have Mr. or should I say brother Diamond Andrews, the ASI president, speaking on the ASI Convention 2025 that is currently happening. And that is your rundown for this morning. Now, before I go, I want you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
the game is on. You don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
And I'll be your host for this morning. This morning, I am joined in studio with Mrs. Karen Bart Alexander. She is a member of the Tobago Civil Society Network, also known as CivilNet. So good morning to Mrs. Alexander.
Good morning, Natalia, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. It's a pleasure to be here once more.
It's a pleasure to have you indeed. Now, she's here to speak to us about, some of us may or may not know, the performance survey, the annual Tobago performance survey, and you'll be giving feedback on the performances from December 2023 to 2024.
That's correct.
Right? Based on your feedback in recent years past, Mrs. Alexander and her team, they would have put together a new, well, not really new, but made the improvements to the survey. So all of that will be shared with you all this morning. So before I continue, I want Mrs. Alexander to let you know who she is. So who are you, Mrs. Alexander?
I'm a development activist. I've been living in Tobago for the past 5 years, so I'm a Tobagonian by boat. And I have been involved with development work for a long time. So when I came to Tobago, I decided to get involved with Tobago CivilNet because it is one of the premier development NGOs in Tobago doing some very good work. As you know, we've just completed the 4-part series on the public health approach to crime and violence. And that was virtual. So now we are working on the Tobago Performance Survey, and it has changed direction because in the past it focused fully on the performance of the THA. But now what we are doing is looking at how Tobago is performing, not just the THA per se, but also how the people of Tobago are participating in governance and how they are participating in improving the quality of life on the island and so on. So we had Tobago Analytics, not Tobago Analytics, sorry, NITES Analytics, assist us to redesign the survey. And so we have a new product that is out there, and we are hoping that many people would respond to this survey. It is a joint effort by the Tobago CivilNet and also by the Tobago Council of Elders. And we are assisted in promotions by the Tobago Youth Council. So, you know, we have quite a number of people on board on this occasion.
It's a lot of support there in one.
That's right.
Yes.
That's correct. And the NITES Analytics group, that is a data management company. They have done a very good job in terms of helping us to redesign the project to get as much information as possible out of it. Because as you are aware, Natalia, development has to be evidence-based.
Yes.
You have to know what you are working on, why you are working on it, and you have to ensure that people matter in development. So the survey seeks to get information from the people on their life, their quality of life, and what they think and whether they can meet their needs and those kinds of questions. So it's very important that as many people as possible respond to the survey, answer the questions, and give us the information that would assist the powers that be who provide the goods and services and so on, who help to improve the quality of life of people in Tobago, would have that data and that information to know what the needs are and so on.
Right. I know lots of people, you know, sometimes they might see this and they might not want to take part for whatever reason. But I'm going to jump on you with not jump on you, but get in with you in saying that I think is very important, because you did mention that the civilians, they also have a say in these matters.
Definitely.
And by doing this survey, they now have a voice into how Tobago is developed on a whole. Yes. Right. So
and it's totally anonymous. We don't want your name. We don't want your address. We just want to know what you think, how you feel, what your needs are, how you view the performance of the THA in your district, and that kind of thing. So it's very important.
Okay. And so what is the CivilNet? What is the CivilNet and its survey together, and how did this idea come about? Because it's saying that it's the 3rd annual performance survey. So in the past 2 years, what triggered you all to put a survey in place?
Well, we were thinking that if you have to have governance, you need to have monitoring, you need to have evaluation of that governance that is taking place. And so we came up with the idea of asking people their views on the performance of the THA over the period of 1 year. I think we had just changed when we started. We had just changed the THA grouping, and so it was important that we keep abreast of what is happening, how people are feeling, what they're doing. It wasn't being antagonistic or anything to the administration. What we were trying to do is sort of keep the administration knowing how the people are feeling, what the people are thinking, what the needs of the people are in terms of their governance and their performance, and so garner better leadership from the THA, because if you know that people are monitoring your performance, then you tend to perform better. You tend to want to do more.
Yes.
So this, I think, was what instigated the performance survey, and it is something really that should always be thought of when we have governance going on. How is that governance impacting the people? How are the needs of the people being met? Is the administration being favorable to the people? Are they doing what the people want them to do?
Yes.
And that kind of thing. So this was the motivation behind the survey in the first instance. But what happened was that the questions that we asked, some of the questions were a bit very general, and many of the questions people didn't really understand, because they're not keeping abreast of what is going on and how and what the THA is doing and so on. We noted that there was a need for the THA to give more information to the people so that they can be more competent in answering the questions we were asking. So we reviewed the questions so that now we have 4 categories of questions. One will be on the quality of life in Tobago. Yes, and the other question will be on participatory governance. And then we are asking people, how are you contributing to improving Tobago? So people now have the opportunity to say what they are doing to improve life in Tobago. And so there's also an open section where we are asking them, what are the needs of your district that you want to see addressed by the THA? Yes?
Okay.
And there is also another question there, and that question is, what suggestions do you have for improving the quality of life in Tobago? And these are very important questions to be answered by the citizenry. So if we get many, many people, as I'm hoping we would get, answering all of these questions, then we have a lot of data to work with. The THA has a lot of data to work with. But this is not political. We are not here to, to help any particular party or anything like that. We are here to ensure that the views of the people of Tobago are known, and that their needs are known, and how they feel and how they think is out there, so that people can, those who have the authority and the validity to address those needs, can go ahead knowing that they are doing it on the basis of evidence that has been supplied by the citizenry.
Okay. All right. So we know that the youths are a major part of Tobago's development, where upcoming, they're the ones, the future leaders, as everybody would say. So does the survey, in reviewing the survey, does it cater to school children? What age ranges does that survey cater to?
Everybody who can understand it and answer it. We would like a variety of persons, and whether, first of all, in these districts, each district should have a nice sample of people who have completed the survey. And then you have the sectors. You have people in education, people in health, people in, business, You have the students, and so we would like to really get a nice, solid, substantial sample of the population completing the survey.
Right. Okay, so I'm listening to you. So I have this thing, when I see the suggestion to submit a survey, I look at it, in two ways. Yes, I could submit this survey and maybe I'll be heard. And yes, I could submit this survey and my survey is tossed aside, my answers. What surety or what assurance would the people of Tobago work with, knowing that whatever feedback they give on that survey will be addressed?
Well, the thing is, when we have collected all the data, we intend to make the results public.
Okay.
So that everybody knows what everybody thinks about these questions that we have asked. And then we are advocating that the THA and the government of Trinidad and Tobago pay specific attention to the needs of the people. That's why they are there, to meet the needs of the people, to serve the people. And the survey is totally anonymous. So we are not asking you your name and so on. Your answers would be what matters, not who you are. But what you are saying is what would matter.
Okay. All right. So we're coming on to the end of the interview, but one question I need to ask, because a lot of people, I know a lot of people looking at the program this morning will be now interested in signing up in doing this survey, all right, to have their feedback heard. One question I have for you is, where can we find the information on this survey?
Okay, you can go to Tobago CivilNet's Facebook page. You can also call the chairman, Mr. Rodney Pigott, at 3231958, and he would be willing to complete the survey on the telephone with you. 3231958. Also, you can email tobagocivilnet@gmail.com and request a copy of the survey, and we are going to attach and send it back to you by email. So there are several ways in which you can access this survey. You can conduct the survey online with Tobago CivilNet's Facebook page. You can call the chairman, Rodney Pigott, at 3231958, or you can also email tobagocivilnet@gmail.com.
And they will send you over this survey.
And we will send you the survey so that you can complete it. Yes?
All right. So we see that this team is really working for the people, because, they've thought of every type of person, those who may not have access to the internet. As she said, you can call Mr. Rodney Pigott at 3231958, or you have the option, if you have internet access, to get on to them via Gmail at tobagocivilnet@gmail.com. And then also we have the Facebook page, Tobago CivilNet on Facebook. We can also go over there and look at what they have in store on that survey. And you all can be a part of the feedback that they would use to improve Tobago's development.
There are 3 questions on the quality of life. There are 5 questions on participatory governance, which is THA focused. And then the individual contribution to the improvement of Tobago, there are 4 questions, and 2 questions on open feedback.
All right. So could you highlight some of those questions that we might look at, so that we have, some type of idea in going into the survey on what we want to write?
Certainly. And remembering that it is totally anonymous, in the first section we have a very important question, which is the monthly household income. And following on that, we are asking, are you able to provide for the basic necessities on your current earnings?
Right.
And that the answers will be yes, always, yes, most of the time, no, rarely, and no, never.
Speaking to the island's development, right? Because you said there was a part for that on the survey. For people who are experiencing, for example, land slippage and these type of things, is there a place for them to answer on that?
Yeah. How satisfied are you with the following aspects of your daily life in Tobago? So you have the opportunity to answer on access to healthcare services, availability of clean drinking water, safety and security in your area, access to electricity, transportation and mobility, recreational spaces and activities, access to knowledge and the internet, quality of public education and awareness, and job opportunities in Tobago.
I'm actually curious to see the statistics on those answers.
Yes. And another important question, to what extent do you agree with the following statements about the Tobago House of Assembly? The THA is transparent about its actions, and you can strongly disagree, neither disagree nor agree, or highly agree, or strongly agree. I trust the THA to act in the best interests of Tobago residents. Public services are delivered fairly and efficiently by the THA. I feel represented by my district's leaders in the THA. So you have the opportunity to indicate whether you agree or disagree with those statements.
And I must put in here that I'm encouraging people to actually go and take part in this survey, because if we put it aside, the people that, let's say may or may not vote in favor, they will take the majority. And what improvement would you see in that sector if you don't take part? So if it is that you are interested in seeing that, that improvement in Tobago's development, I encourage you to do this survey.
Yeah. And there's also a question that asks, have you ever taken part in THA public discussions? For example, attending meetings, conducting, participating in surveys, providing feedback, and so on. So we want to know whether people are involved in decision making and to what extent they are involved in the decision making of the THA.
Okay. All right. Is there a part, because on social media, social media clearly is where people choose to vent these days.
Yes.
Is there a part where we can answer on having submitted requests to the THA and not having them answered?
Well, I think so. This is at the end in the open feedback. We have, what is the most pressing issues your district faces that the THA should address? So people who have issues and challenges. I think this is an area in which you can indicate what your issues and challenges are.
Okay.
So that, and what we found in going out to, speak to people and get them to complete the survey on site, we found that people were willing to talk. People have a lot to talk about. And sometimes there was one guy, I remember on Sunday, we went out on Sunday and we went down to Bell Garden, Glamorgan area. And there was one guy, I had to keep telling him, hold on, you'll get an opportunity later in the survey to say that, and he kept just going because he was so excited to speak and to let his opinion be heard. So we want to hear from Tobagonians. We want the citizens to participate en masse in this survey so that we would be able to get a sense of what is happening with the people and with the needs of the people so that those needs can be addressed.
All right. So thank you so much, Mrs. Alexander, for being with us here this morning. You brought a lot of information that I know a lot of people will be very much excited to go and look for, where their voice can now be heard in another avenue. That is Tobago Civil Society's
CivilNet Performance
Survey. All right. So once again, if you want to take part in the survey, you have options. You can call Mr. Rodney Pigott at 323-1958, or you can email the
TobagoCivilNet@gmail.com.
Of course, and then you can go and look at their Facebook page as well. The survey will be made available to you there. So thank you once again, Mrs. Alexander, for being with us. Thank you, viewers, for looking at this one interview. We have much more for you in store. So before we go, I just encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Springs. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back, viewers. At 7:34 this morning, I bring to you a gentle reminder that we were at the Esplanade last week. We were right in front of that beautiful I Love Tobago sign, and we're going to just, give you that insight into some more businesses on that Esplanade, right? This morning we have an interview conducted by Mr. Luke Trim. He will be taking you through the business Bougie Bliss. It's a hairdressing place on the Esplanade, and he's ready to give it to you. So right over to Luke Trim on the Esplanade.
The Scarborough Esplanade offers a wide variety of services, from food to beauty services to even arts and culture. Everything you need can be found right here. Now, today we will be chatting with a mom and a manager. Some may call her a momager, and she will be taking us through the world of beauty as she tells us about her daughter's business. So let's hear what she has to say.
Good day, I am Kim Franklin. The name of the business is Bougie Bliss. It's a beauty salon. We are located at Unit 12D on the Esplanade, Milford Road Esplanade to be exact. Well, generally we are more focused on natural hairstyling. We are styling for adults, both male and female, children. So it's all braiding, natural hair combing. There will be washing services. We are now setting up, so some of these things will come in afterwards. The main person who would be doing the hair is my daughter, Kyra Manswell. In the COVID period, a lot of persons, they had no access to barbers. So the entire family circle would have wanted someone to do their hair. So by default, Kyra was the person who did it. And coming out of that, she continued doing it because even after leaving school, there was a big challenge in getting a job. So she opted to utilize that as her main source of income. And here we are now set up at the Milford Road Esplanade. Well, of course, as a mother, you'll be proud. But, everything, there's always a start, and we are here starting, and this is our big step because we have now moved out of the home and into a central location where we could be located and accessed by everybody far and wide. Because her clientele was of a smaller range, one of the main challenges was to be known, and one way of doing that is putting herself out there. We have an Instagram page right now that's Tangled by Kai, and that is one of the main ways that we reach out to persons. We get persons to get in. We do photographs of persons who would have access to our services. It's being advertised, it's being shared. We're utilizing our WhatsApp status as means of also showing that, showcasing that talent. The contact number, should you be interested, 493 8103. That's a direct line, and you would be able to get us either via WhatsApp, direct call, Tangled by Kai. So she has been doing natural hairstyling, that's using your own length of your hair. She has been doing braiding. She has been doing, well, I know there are lots of styles. I could only say a few. There's pop and smoke, there's all back. She doing medium, large, knotless style. She also would use your pictures and also try to recreate. Now, the recreation wouldn't be an exact replica of what you would have shown her, but it's more or less geared on utilizing it as what you would like, an inspiration for the style you would like to have the outcome. So by calling 493-8103, you could do that either via WhatsApp, you could do it direct, you can also call 310-3240 or use WhatsApp, and then there's Tangled by Kai, which is her Instagram handle.
All right, viewers, so that was our hard-working momager. You've heard it, you've heard the passion. So if you're looking to do something natural or even get your hair done, they are located at booth 12D right here on the Scarborough Esplanade.
Welcome back, viewers, over to the studio here at Port Mall in Scarborough on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. So, as promised, we are now going to kickstart. I did a joke there. You'll see what joke I made there later on. Right, we're going to kickstart this new interview, and I'll welcome to studio this morning Mr. Kyle Joseph. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. Now we're having some technical difficulties, Mr. Joseph, so we'll just take a short break and we'll be right back.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, we apologize to you for those technical difficulties. We go straight into our interview with Mr. Kyle Joseph. Good morning again to you, Mr. Kyle.
Hi, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Right, so I mean, it's early in the morning, such a serious face, and I'm going to make my joke again. Let's kickstart this interview, right, just to get into the meat of the matter. So who is Kyle Joseph?
My name is Kyle Joseph again. I'm introduce myself. Kyle Joseph started off going at Elizabeth College. Got a transfer to Signal Hill. Met up with Bertil Sinclair, start coaching at the age of 17. Not going to say my age on air, but been doing it for a while. Did a degree in sports medicine. exercise science, concentration in coaching, farmer as well, life coach as well, and president of the Tobago Athletic Committee as well. I'm a goat owner and trainer, and the president of Tobago Select.
All right, so this is Mr. Kyle Joseph, very much qualified to take us through what we have to discuss this morning. Now, Kyle, what sport do you major in?
Actually, I major in biomechanics, body movement. So any sport really that I could really coach, but track and field and football is my most prominent sports that I really coach.
All right. So you are here this morning to discuss a football scholarship program. Now, what would have inspired the idea for having such a program created?
All right. I think it's 2012 when I came back from scholarship. I was one of the last persons from Sinclair's coaching school. Went on scholarship, and then I realized nothing for the youths. Nobody, not coach wasn't doing it as how he used to. The team wasn't like how it used to. So the scouts was not coming here, and what one thing I realized that Coach Bertil did was trying to like basically coach you the way that they want in the United States. So I created this program where I coach like college, a lot of running, a lot of discipline. You have to do your schoolwork and try to get out there, try to get those qualifications to get out there. So that what really inspired me that I went on scholarship as well, and then a lot of the kids wasn't going on scholarship. I don't know if some clubs didn't know the route or choose to play regionally or locally. So I choose to try to take these kids internationally so scouts could be seen. They could be seen by scouts.
Okay, so is it that you're offering a football scholarship program or a sports scholarship program? Because based on what you're telling me, it's not just football. I'm hearing track and field as well as involved.
Yeah, well, Tobago Select really helps in any aspect of getting a scholarship, even academically. So it's track, any sport, swimming, anything that you could, these kids could get an opportunity to get free monies to go to school. Tobago Select have that gateway that they could channel them through to trying to get a scholarship, because most times some of these coaches do dual sport or dual coaching. So you might end up on the track team and it's the same guy who coaching football. They might end up on the track team and it's the same person who doing cross country. So it's basically it's an opportunity to get any sort of athletic or academic scholarship.
All right. So there are lots of there are lots of other sport programs that kids may be involved in. So I'm just asking you to tell us what sets you apart from these other programs.
As I say, for me, I went on scholarship. We have some other coaches that went on scholarship as well. But for me, I went on scholarship and saw it where it was needed to basically coach like what they want, because we have Trinidad and Tobago or Tobago, to extension, have their own style of play. But where college is concerned, you have to do a mile, and you have to do a mile in a certain amount of time. So I really coach what the coaches want out there. So when we go out there on any tournament, or they come here, they see that way this kid could run, this kid could jump, this kid, he has heart. So basically I coach what the coaches want, not what I really want. It's not really about me.
All right. What ages do you cater to for the program? Because based on what you're saying, it looks as though you're catering to more teenagers. But can the younger ones, I know a lot of countries, they focus on the younger generation so that when they start to grow, they continue into that way and then they continue on into being something bigger and better. So what ages do you cater for in your scholarship program?
So right now I taking kids at the age of 4 or 5 years old till whatever. I know some guys got scholarship when they were 30 years old. So but the avenue is there from 3, 4, 5 years old to once you're athletically inclined, I could try to help you go down that road to trying to get a scholarship.
Okay. And what does this scholarship offer? Because, some scholarship programs, they would tell you, you have a scholarship, but they send you to a specific university. So is it that is the case with this scholarship program, or is it that you offer a broad-based scholarship? What does the scholarship itself offer?
If I understand what you're saying, most scholarships is either athletic scholarships or academic scholarships. Academic scholarships or even athletic scholarships as well. They what we call partial scholarships. The coaches, the school pay half or 3/4, and you find the other. So in the aspect, if that is what you're speaking about, there are sometimes it's partial scholarships that or full scholarships.
Okay, all right. And where can we find more information to sign up? I know a lot of youths may be looking at this and now they want to become a part of this, because I know a lot of them are very much involved in football and that is their major, but they don't know where to put that talent. So where exactly can we find more information and where can we sign up to be a part of this? And do you coach the amateurs? Because I wasn't academically inclined before, but now I can be. But who do you cater to in terms of that scholarship, and where can we sign up and find more information?
All right, so at Tobago Select, you can find us on Instagram. We also have a Facebook page. Our email is tobagoselect@gmail.com. If you have any questions about how to attain a scholarship or even how to get to a university, you can email us at tobagoselect@gmail.com, and we will reply to you in a very short space of time, maybe 1 day or 2 days. But all information is also there on Instagram as well. You can find us on Instagram at Tobago Select.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph, for joining us here this morning on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. Thank you so much for joining us, because I realize, it's an early morning for you, but you still made it out to speak to us this morning.
Yeah, because honestly, what happened, we were in Florida, and the time difference. So I thinking it's 6:30. When I look at my watch, I swear it was 6:30. Never to know we were an hour ahead of time now. So I just came back day before yesterday. We had a tournament out there as well. So with that tournament caused a little time difference. So sleeping a bit late.
All right. But we want to especially thank you for coming out this morning, because, a lot of youths are very much interested in things like these, and you were able to come and share your information with us. So we thank you so much from Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. So
okay, no problem.
Viewers, we continue on this morning. We have one more interview in store for you. Stay tuned to hear a little bit more about the ASI Convention 2025 with Mr. or Brothers Andrews and Mr. Damian Edwards. So stay tuned and share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
when the game is on. You don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to our last interview on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. This morning, or at the end of our morning show, I'd like to introduce to you all the PRO and the President, Mr. Damian Edwards and Mr. Diamond Andrews, respectfully, for the ASI Tobago chapter. They're here to speak to us on the ASI Convention 2025 happening now. So good morning to you two gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, before I started this interview, I got pulled up. I called Mr. Andrews, Brother Andrews, and did not call Damien Brother Damien. So this is Brother Damien and Brother Diamond Andrews, right?
Good morning.
Just want to welcome them once again to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates.
That's
now, young men.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
You on target.
Who is ASI, or what is ASI Tobago chapter?
ASI is Adventist Layperson Service and Industry. Anybody who's doing a business, whether it be selling one sweetie a day, or you have a big Tobago glass supplies, whatever, you could be a member. Professionals, nurses, doctors, those are professionals. Street cleaners, that's a profession. That's a profession.
Yes, it is.
Whoever. You can be a member of ASI.
All right.
And ASI is a group that moves with a click. There's something happening here and we need to get it done. We get it done. We get it done in minutes, seconds if it's possible.
So we're looking at charity work. We're looking at spreading the gospel, through our acts of service towards others.
That's
right. So now we presently have an ASI convention happening. ASI convention happens every year, annually.
Yes.
We know that sometimes, well, I would say most of the time, the central location is at the Good News SDA Church. Is it there again this year?
Yes, that's where we have this year. Every night we are going from 7 o'clock and we are going until we finish.
Until we finish.
Yes, from 7 to finish. Finish is about 9. Finish is about 9.
Yes.
So I don't want to tell the people right 9:30, 10 o'clock you're still there. By 9 o'clock you're gone. And Damien, what every night?
Yeah, so far we have a very energetic and vibrant preacher. He is Pastor Terry John. He is the senior pastor of the University of the Southern Caribbean Church in Trinidad. And he has been doing a fantastic job in the delivery of God's word. Last night he spoke about on the verge of being lit. And that's a young person slang, and I'm glad that you have mentioned and called us and labeled us young men.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, so there he is doing really a fantastic job, and we are inviting viewers. There are many viewers online, but we are inviting individuals in Tobago to come on down at the Good News Estate Church. We also have great giveaways. Last night we gave away about 4 hampers. 5 hampers of the value of each hamper $500 at your 2 locations, Bill Brown Supermarket and Penny Saver Supermarket.
Those are sponsors for 2025.
Wow. So yes, we are having the convention, but during the convention, we still have those acts of services happening from the ASI Tobago chapter. All right. So where can we find more information on ASI Tobago chapter? And as you said, it's located in Good News. Who is this program open to as well?
This program is open to everyone. Everybody. Even I want to believe that we're going to send an invitation out to you. So you can join us tonight, 7 p.m. Don't join us via the online medium. Come physically. You are here in Tobago. And it's always nice to have physical people at the physical location. But tonight, 7 p.m., come all down at the Good News Seventh-day Adventist Church, right opposite the Esplanade, that vibrant, exciting church. There is where all the action is.
On the verge of despair is our topic for tonight.
On the verge of despair.
Our topic actually is on the verge. Or not the theme. For the whole week, it's on the verge. So on the verge of despair, on the verge of trouble, on the verge of the coming of Jesus. That is very important. So we want to ask people to come on down and let's have some fun together with Jesus and put things in place so that everybody can know who this Jesus is. We are professional givers. I like to put it that way. Anybody want, whatever you want, we try our best to assist in whatever way we can. That's ASI.
All right. So you're saying that even if I have access to the online YouTube ASI page link, I should still come out to Good News SD because that is where the vibrancy is.
Yes.
That is where we come to hear the song service. Of course, the lovely special musics that are offered to us every night. And then, we have the main feature, and that is brought to us by Pastor
Terry John.
Terry John,
right? So viewers, they're asking you to come out and not only support, but come out and hear the word of God at Good News SDA Church right there in Scarborough. That's, let's see, that's what, 3 buildings down from where we are?
Yes.
So it's not too far, right?
Right there.
And if you need more information on this convention and more information on ASI Tobago chapter, you can contact, Brother Damien, right, at the number. Please give the viewers your number.
6829245.
Right, and Brother Diamond Andrews at
721-640. Everybody knows my number in Tobago. That's a public number, 721-6409. Come on down and let's make it happen. Tonight we're looking forward to see you. Come with you, bring somebody with you. Somebody might end up with a hamper. And on Friday, well, for the whole week we've been running this special. Anybody who could find 10 persons to bring, we have a wow giveaway for that person.
Wow.
We call it a wow giveaway. Big times.
I don't think I can say that wow like Brother Diamond, right? But take it from him. There is a wow giveaway to give to you tonight if you bring 10 or more persons.
Between now and Friday night.
Between now and Friday night as the convention continues. So viewers, thank you so much for joining us on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. And to Brother Damien and Brother Diamond Andrews, thank you so much for being with us as well. Viewers, we are continuing on to Good Morning Tobago. So we ask you to stay tuned and share the live, share the live, share the live.
We have not had a shark attack in my years of scuba diving and being in the marine environment. We have never had an encounter such as that one. So we have to understand why is it that this happened, and understand that, listen, you know, these creatures, that's their home, and being in the water as a diver and even as a swimmer, one of the inherent risks is encountering one of these creatures. Yeah, so I don't think that is a worry, but I think it's a wake-up call for us to make sure that we equip our lifeguards, equip our emergency responders, so that they know in the unlikely event of an incident like that, we know what to do. As divers, we would see sharks once in a while, but most of the time it's what we call provoked or unprovoked occurrences. So when we see them, they tend to avoid us. They don't like the human contact at all. We are not part of the ecosystem, so they don't know us as food. So the fear isn't there. The fear is mutual. They are more scared of us as we of them. Okay, so we just have to respect the animal.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
This project represents a key step in our commitment to enhancing energy resilience, increasing renewable energy penetration, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions in Tobago, in line with the government's objective of reducing overall greenhouse gas emissions by 15% by the year 2030.
It will impact the school's identity in an enormous way because Charlottesville Methodist Primary School is the first primary school within Trinidad and Tobago where we have solar panel.
For us, this project is more than just technical work. It's a powerful statement of our commitment to renewable energy solutions, education, and preserving our beautiful island for future generations. The world is rapidly changing, and with it, our approach to energy. By installing this solar system, we reduce our carbon footprint and cultivate environmental stewardship among young minds.
And one of the key factors towards us becoming the greatest little island on the planet is us accepting our climate responsibility. And to see Charlottesville leading, I felt extremely proud.
I feel great because we are saving energy and reducing our carbon footprint on the earth, and that helps to reduce pollution.
For a very long time, we have been reliant solely on hydrocarbons. But this is a step in the right direction, a step towards diversifying our energy consumption patterns, and a step towards doing so in the most sustainable manner.
If we spread these initiatives all over this country, it means then that TNTech will no longer have to generate and depend on NGC for billions of dollars in gas that we can now have at our disposal, that we can now use to build more schools and to build more roads and to build more hospitals and to improve the living circumstances of the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Thanks for favor to wake
Good morning, Tobago, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago right here at Tobago Updates. Now, viewers, we are midweek. It's Wednesday, and we're almost to Friday, and Friday is always a day that we look forward to. And if you don't know, well, now you will know that we are still continuing the Beneath the Surface series right here on Tobago Updates, where we are peeling back the layers to these politicians to really find out what goes into governing this beautiful island of Tobago. For those of you who don't know me, you don't know this face, you don't know me from a place. My name is Luke James Shrim, and I'm proud to be your host for this morning's show. And I'm also joined by my co-host, Miss Chanel Felix. Chanel, how are you?
I am good this morning. I'm feeling quite radiant, although it's a bit rainy outside. I'm looking forward to this morning's conversation. Now, we've had a number of conversations with the representatives from a number of areas, a number of districts.
Correct.
Yesterday, we had an interesting conversation with Assemblyman Niall George, and I believe it was on Monday we chatted with Assemblyman Orlando Kerr. That was really interesting as well, peeling back the layers and understanding some of the ideas and the feelings and the human being behind the representative and being able to really and truly go beneath the surface. Now, you all know I am Chanel Felix, and whenever you see me sitting here, we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. So this morning, as we continue our conversation, Luke, we're going to have our news in 90 seconds.
News in 90 seconds, correct. So, Secretary of Tourism Tashia Boris believes Tobago can lead the global steel pan movement. Boris highlighted at a welcome reception for Tobago small bands the need to take local talent internationally. She announced plans for scholarships for young arrangers and expressed pride in Tobago's pan musicians. Boris emphasized unity among Tobago's bands and anticipated fierce competition at the upcoming National Medium Band Final. With the U.S. reviewing its foreign aid policies, CARICOM AMPAC's head, L.T. Mitchell Jones, says that the Regional Security Agency must adapt. Trump's recent executive order halts most U.S. foreign aid, affecting some training programs but not significantly disrupting operations. The Caribbean Crime Gun Intelligence Unit, CCGIU, will continue its efforts, and the impacts will seek support from other partners, including South Korea. Some programs like TNT Civil Military Coordination Training have been cancelled. Jones emphasized its commitments to protecting the region despite the pause in U.S. assistance. Public Administration Minister Alison West announced the development of a remote work policy for civil servants. West highlighted a draft policy is under cabinet review following a pilot project. However, no timeline for approval was given. The ministry engaged PwC Advisory Services Limited to assist in policy development, consulting key stakeholders. Meanwhile, Education Minister Dr. Nyan Gatsby-Dolly reiterated Prime Minister Dr. Rowley's speech on education's role in preventing crime, but did not confirm any related government policies. And that was your news in 90 seconds. Now, viewers, we are joined this morning by someone who is no stranger to us here at Tobago Updates, or the island of Tobago. Most recently, we have seen this lovely lady in the news, but we are here to finally chat with her and peel back those layers to what goes into her role as Councillor and Secretary for the Division of Tourism. Now, we are joined by Councillor Miss Tashia Boris. Miss Boris, good morning, and how are you?
Good morning, Luke, and good morning, Chanel, and good morning to the people of Tobago, those who are watching here and in the diaspora. Good morning to everyone.
Right. So, Miss Boris, I want you to take us back to your younger version, young Tashia Boris growing up in Tobago, and what was that like for you? And if you can touch on the factors that may have influenced you to say, okay, one day when I grow up, I want to get into politics.
Oh boy. Well, I never said that to myself, to be honest with you. I spent the first half of my childhood growing up in Scarborough, obliquely opposite the Our Boys Pan tent. So pan is in my blood.
Okay,
I
nice.
love the instrument. I can't play, but I love pan. And growing up in Scarborough, attending Scarborough Roman Catholic School, there were a number of teachers that influenced my outspokenness because I was into storytelling. I'm actually a former national storytelling champion. So people like Miss Dillon, people like Mrs. Mitchell, people like Sir Acqui, people like Sir Phillips, these were the people who, encouraged my love for learning and for reading and for being very inquisitive about life and, exploring, every possible thing, getting involved and, just basically being a child that had the opportunity to, just look at the world through different lenses. I am one of 6 children. I'm the 3rd child, second girl, 2 girls, 4 boys. So I grew up around boys. So I have a propensity to always kind of lean towards having, conversations with young men and stuff, because I always grew up talking to my brothers, ramping with them, playing with them, fighting, how that goes. The next half of my life, we actually moved to Susulands, and that is where my parents still reside. And, coming from leaving town, going to a place that was now being developed, it was one of the first instances that I saw that from a Tobago perspective, we were now growing our villages and growing our communities. And we were one of the first families that moved into Susulands. And, when you look at the story of how the Susulands came together, that was a brainchild of Miss Pamela Nicholson. And the idea that Tobagonians could, 1, own their lands, and 2, build their houses, and build massive houses at that, that it was possible for a fireman or a nurse or a teacher to live in places that, to me, as small as I was back then, some of them looked like mansions. But that is what showed me the Tobagonian spirit, because I remember when my father was building the house, there was a time when it was casting the foundation, and my mom had to cook a lot of food, but people came and they helped, and that was the whole Susulands concept, the idea of lend hand, and that is how people's homes were built. So I could say that the person that encouraged me in terms of my appetite for news and what was happening at the level of government and hearing stories about politics was actually my father. But I never thought about a career in politics. It was never for me something that I felt that I could do. I was more content with, studying and pursuing whatever my passions were. So I have a bachelor's degree in computing and information systems, and I have a master's degree in international marketing management. So politics was not on the horizon until 2019, to be honest with you. But I've always been a part of youth movements. I was a member of the Tobago Youth Council. So youth advocacy has always been something that I've been involved in. But as I said, 2019 was the year all of that changed.
Great.
I noticed particularly that you didn't mention the influence of Mr. Watson Duke in your political career, because I know very recently you made a post on social media reflecting on the connection that you guys had in that election when you went up for Tobago West and he was in Tobago East, and hoping that, that level of fight in him could be reignited. Has Mr. Duke played an integral role in your political career? And how has that been, that dynamic for you, looking back and realizing that this is a man who could truly contribute positively, but you are seeing him going in a way that is counter to what you know that he could really produce?
So I think that my story is particularly unique because I sit in an administration and I'm the only one that has run for a general election. And several things are true all at once. Yes, Mr. Duke gave me my start in politics. He gave me an opportunity. And for that, I would always be grateful, because I wouldn't be sitting here if he didn't give me that opportunity. But I also would not be sitting here if the current Chief Secretary and my political leader, Mr. Fali Augustine, didn't choose me to be a councillor and pick me to be the Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. But to answer your question, I mean, my perspective and my history of the situation might be very different to what Mr. Duke remembers. I do remember us campaigning very hard. I remember us winning the hearts of the people of Tobago. I remember how it felt like if we were unified in this purpose of getting this autonomy for Tobago. However, but I also do remember that 2 days before the election, he went on the platform and essentially threw away the election. And that is not erased from my memory. And it is not erased from the memory of many people who stood there knowing what they contributed to that particular cause. And, I must say thank you at this time to all of the people that supported us, all of us who came into politics, supported me even then, the people who still came out and voted for me even after that happened. I must say that, there are a couple of people who constantly, regardless of the situation, they always reached out, they kept praying for me, they kept encouraging me, even when things for me looked bleak. There were people who literally were just trying to encourage me and said, what, don't give up, this is just a stumbling block, and that's how life goes sometimes. But Mr. Duke, I didn't really read, his post, but it was sent to me and I didn't read the comments or anything like that. But essentially it was couched in a way that he said, what, come home to the PDP. But there's no home there. He burnt the house down. There's nothing for me to return to, because the start of that fire was that night, August 18, 2020. And I don't recall him apologizing to our supporters. I don't recall him being remorseful about the situation. And even when Mr. Augustine tried to apologize then, his behavior and attitude towards even that, said to me that this was no longer a democracy and this was no longer a party, but it was becoming a one-man show. And it was becoming about everything having to be his way and nobody else's way making sense. So for me, there's nothing to come back home to. I will make it lucidly clear. My post was not to ask for unity. It's not for me to ask for unity. I am simply stating that this man gave me my start. I have seen him fall from grace. He was a person that commanded the respect of hundreds and thousands of people. And it really was kind of, spurred on by his behavior in the house last week. Because I had to say to him, even when he was being escorted out, why don't you behave? Because all of this that you're doing here helps no one. The enemy is not PDP, TPP. The enemy, if we have to use the word enemy, is Tobago is on one side and a central government in Trinidad is on the other side, denying the people of Tobago the opportunity to self-actualize. And for all of us who are in this fight, who say that we are fighting for the same goal, we may not agree on the method, as I said. We may not agree on the plan or the path. But what we can agree on is that everything that we have to do from today going forward, because there's a general election coming, there's a THA election coming, we all have to be on the same page where it comes to the struggle for Tobago's self-determination. And that is the most important thing.
I'm glad that you brought that up specifically when it comes to the fight for Tobago's autonomy and that general election, because there are a lot of persons wondering whether or not you are going to put your hat in the ring for that next election. And it has been said, within particular quarters that up until recently that you did not make yourself a member of the TPP party. And you are saying now that you pledge your allegiance to Farley Augustine and that Watson Duke no longer has a house because he burnt it down. But why is that? Why didn't you make that crossover with the rest of your colleagues into the new party?
Well, the party wasn't formed immediately after we left. So there was a period where that was happening. That's one. And two, for me, I felt as if, party politics, I didn't really want to get involved in party politics again. I was asked to serve as a councillor. I took an oath to the people of Tobago and the people of Trinidad and Tobago to serve to the best of my ability. And when I walked into the Division of Tourism, I literally met nothing. I didn't meet anything that I could just continue. I didn't meet any policies that I could simply just run with. I met nothing. And for me, I felt that the best people to build out the new vehicle, which is the TPP, would be the people who have time and the energy and the capacity to go do that. I didn't feel as if I had the time or the capacity to help in that process. So for me, for the last 2 years in particular, I have been just supremely focused on ensuring that the work of the Division of Tourism can start and continue and leaving a very strong legacy, regardless of who takes the chair after I leave. So putting policies in place, putting programs in place, embarking on the upgrade of our physical tourism infrastructure, all of these things take a lot of time. And for me, I spend most of my waking moments thinking about what more can I do, so that I believe that the party has its talented people who are able to build out those structures, and that certainly I have made myself available to be of assistance. I have indicated to the Chief Secretary and my colleagues on many occasions, I am always here to help because we all are part of the same team. We all are in this struggle together. We have all suffered together. We have all been heartbroken together. We have all gone through experiences that would bind us together. Even that whole situation with Audio Gate and the police searching and whatnot. These are things that bind people together. When you have to pray for your colleague or you have to pray to intercede for people, people don't understand that these things affect family life. They affect mental health. They affect how people look at themselves. And we have gone through a lot in the last 3 years. So that for me, it is, I'm at a place in my life where I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for all of the opportunities that have been afforded to me. I'm grateful for all of the people that have expressed, their confidence in my ability to serve. And that is exactly what I had asked for, the opportunity to serve. And, in this time, service is of paramount importance to me. And I will continue to be available to assist. And I know that there are many people now looking for a political home. That home is the Tobago People's Party. And let us all come together and build that home in the way that we want that home to look. So it's not a one-man party who could decide to burn down the house when he wants to. The Tobago People's Party has to be a reflection of the will of the majority of the people of Tobago. And that is what I'm looking forward to.
Understood, Ms. Boris. And it's good that you touched on, focusing more on shared values rather than partisan divides. Because what a lot of people, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, don't understand is when you are able to put the party politics aside and come together to work and to focus on service, that is when you get the most work done.
Yes.
So I want you to talk to me about that transition. I think the year 2019 would have been a very interesting year for you.
It was.
Transitioning into politics. We understand that when you begin that journey of politics, it's not just you have a family, and I understand that you are also a mother.
Yes, I am.
So how was that whole transition for you and for your children? Because we understand that sometimes you have to sit them down and tell them, listen, this is what mommy is about to do, and it's going to be a very difficult journey for all of us. How was that transition?
It is never easy. I had my son at 18. So I already know about being able to surmount odds that are stacked against you. And, no man is an island. I have a very strong family support system. My parents played a very critical role in ensuring that I could still be a mother and still pursue my education at the same time. I didn't have to choose. My brothers and my sister, so they are the foundation. And then even my kids themselves, they are my motivation to keep going. I was able to grow with my son because I could say that I was a baby when I had him. So he's now 21 years old. He's a big man. And sometimes when I sit down, I ask myself, do I really have a 21-year-old? And the beautiful thing about him in particular is that he grew up at a time when I think he knows who I am and he knows the strength that I have. So he knew that I had to cultivate this almost like an immovable object to be able to survive some of the challenges that you face when you're now thrust into the public spotlight. So he was a little bit older when I got into politics. However, my daughter was pretty young. She was just about 9 around the time that I ran for the election in 2020, and she's now 14. And it's been a little bit more tough on her because, social media is what it is. There's no veil between, whatever's happening at the level of the politics and at the level of the government. And, even to someone as young as her in the schools, because, there's no separation anymore. They see you in the streets and they be like, look, Tashia, and me look at you and call you by your first name. Because when I grew up, there was respect for officers. So when we learned about ministers and assemblymen and stuff, it was Mr. this and Sir that and whatever the case might be. But now that's not the case. People are really kind of casual with the interactions. So how do you help a young child in a system navigate what comes with that and an expectation that she should be a miniature version of me? So as a mother, I try to encourage her always to never forget that she is her own person and that I'm proud of her regardless of what she decides to do with her life, that she doesn't have to follow in my footsteps. She doesn't have to be a politician. She doesn't have to study computing. She doesn't have to study marketing. She can be an artist. She can be a dancer. She can be a lawyer. She can be the best garbage collector in the world if she wants to. Once she's happy and once she has, as you said, those values instilled in her, that pride in herself, that pride in where she came from, integrity and honesty, just being a good person. Those things are important to me. So, as she grows, she has grown. She has come to understand that there's a place where mommy's job begins and ends, and there's a place where mommy always exists. Because regardless of the hat that I wear from a professional standpoint, I'm always mommy. And, for me, the joy of my life has literally been being a mother. It has been raising my kids. I love children. I mean, if I could have more children, I would. But, it has been a great joy of my life. And for me, that love extends to others. And I love other people's children as well. I would be the first to want to babysit. I feel like after politics, I'll open a daycare because I really do feel like if there's an opportunity for us to really love on our children and we see that the society, our kids need more love. They need us to be present. We can't have them being raised by the TV and by the cell phone and things like that. So, you know, they are growing and growing, and they're growing and growing beautifully. And I thank God for keeping them safe and, you know, ensuring that whatever challenges that we face, that we can face together as a family.
And shifting gears a bit, we are in the cruise ship season. What has the division learned from the last season that it has been able to incorporate to ensure that this cruise ship season is a successful one?
So the cruise ship industry has been a mainstay in the Tobago tourism product for a number of years. And one of the places that I used to work before was actually the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago at the Scarborough Port. So coming into the role, I already had a background and an understanding of how the cruise ship industry works. Last season, what we saw with the record numbers that we had coming into the destination, the lessons that we definitely learned is that there's more that we have to do to help to support the industry, more in terms of transportation, more in terms of improvement to our sites and facilities, more in terms of the tour offerings that we have, more in terms of encouraging more operators in this space, because right now we have one main operator who brings in the majority of the ships, and that we would want to encourage more persons to come into this sector and to be able to bring more ships of different sizes. So even if he might be focusing on the larger ships, what we found is that Tobago is a beautiful destination for more European cruise lines who have smaller passenger numbers, but these are the passengers that spend more in destinations, and they don't necessarily like to go to destinations where there's a lot of mass tourism going on, where they're seeing a lot of Americans and just a lot of people in the space. They want to be able to come and have more intimate experiences, more one-on-one, more bespoke type experiences. So what we've learned is that we certainly have to do some refinement of our product. We have to be able to decide whether we want mass tourism or niche tourism, and that's a conversation that continues, because the reality is that Tobago is still next to Trinidad, and Trinidad may be positioning themselves to attract more mass tourism type activities. But certainly there are opportunities available for more niche experiences, and this is the information that we have been getting, so that we continue to grow our partnerships. We have been able to cement some very solid partnerships with Royal Caribbean and Carnival Corporation through the work that I've done from the division's end, and we continue to cultivate all of those relationships with our smaller cruise partners as well. So it's all a matter of ensuring that Tobago is a destination that has something for everyone, so that yes, the bigger ships can come and we can accommodate them in the Pigeon Point and the Store Bay and all of the places that can accommodate all of our mass people. But we have smaller ships that are calling into Charlottesville, who want to experience the village life, who want to go and dance the cocoa, who want to take a rainforest tour and it's only 10 people, who want to go and hike to a waterfall and there's only 5 people. So those experiences are also available at the destination, and for us it's about being able to sell the two things at the same time.
Understood. Yesterday during our conversation with Assistant Secretary Niall George, we were talking a bit about the grants that the division provides specifically for accommodations in Tobago. And so the conversation came up about being able to train the stakeholders as well to provide a different types of experiences in different locations. So not necessarily just coming to the division and applying for a grant, but that also being followed with the type of training that is necessary. For instance, when we look at the accommodation sector in Tobago, does the division have the data on what percentage of persons stay in guest house, utilize Airbnb, utilize booking.com, as opposed to, you know, using the traditional hotel sector? And what does that demographic require? Because when we look at it, we see a huge demographic moving towards the Airbnbs, and we're looking at who are the persons on Airbnbs that are the most successful. They are the ones providing a particular type of experience. How can we, you know, use that model to train other persons who maybe probably have a room downstairs, have the 2 rooms, to create, or I should say curate that experience that really draws the tourists in? What is the division doing on that front?
So what we recognize is that, you know, there's an evolution that has to take place. A lot of our stakeholders through the Hotel and Tourism Association are persons that have been in the sector for a number of years. So a lot of them still have a model that reflects when they just came into the sector. Even the use of technology has been a challenge. You know, a lot of persons don't have a website, or they don't have a Facebook page, or they don't have an Instagram profile. They still operate largely cash-based businesses, things like that. The data is available. The challenge with Airbnb is some privacy stuff. But based on the information that we collect regularly from the THT, and we also have a database in TITA where we encourage persons who have accommodations in the sector to register. We utilize all of those mechanisms to make some to make some inferences, because you have to understand that the tourism sector is still very largely unregulated, so that there is no law that requires that somebody needs to register their business. So you may have your downstairs and you might have 3 rooms downstairs and you're renting out them 3 rooms every weekend to persons who come in the destination on a weekend, but there's no law that says you have to register that as a business and things like that. So these are the people that we will not necessarily be able to capture in that data gathering exercise. So there's some work that we have to do in terms of literally just going out and finding out people's business and finding out who have a room, who have a this, whatever it is that you have in terms of product. There is some work that we have to do and continue to do. By way of mentorship, this is where partnerships are very critical. We have the THTI, which is the Hotel and Tourism Institute. It was formerly under the Division of Tourism. It's no longer with us. It's actually under the Division of Education now. But we foresee that there's a strong partnership that we have to foster with the work that the modern THTI is doing, so that we recognize that there is a skills gap. And that skills gap is this. We are training people for this sector. We are training them in entry-level things. We are training them in short courses. We have some associate's degree programs. We have bachelor programs. But what we're missing is that executive level type training, which is for leadership and supervision. And these are for the more mature persons in the sector. So you might have 20 years under your belt working front desk. How does that take you to the next level? Because in terms of crafting an experience, it takes somebody who knows and who's able to anticipate the need of a visitor to be able to say, what can I offer to this person that is going to meet a need that they would have? So for example, you may have traveled, I'm sure, and you may walk into a hotel and you're about to check in and somebody walks up to you and say, can I offer you a glass of juice or a glass of water? Or can I offer you a flavored beverage? Something like that. And that is them understanding that when you made the booking, you indicated that your flight was coming in at 8 o'clock in the morning. You're checking in at 2 o'clock. You may have had a long layover. You may have had a long drive to the destination. And you naturally get to the front desk and you might be thirsty. And that simple act of offering you a glass of water has already elevated your experience. You can only do something like that if you're thinking in the mind of the guest. And a lot of people may have businesses in the tourism sector, but they may not be able to put themselves in the mind of the guests. So that is where we feel that is something that we have to now sit with people and walk them through. How do you put yourself in the mind of the guests? How do you look at your property from the perspective of someone that is visiting? Is there something that you need to put in place to ensure that you can attract all types of people? One thing that we take for granted is the differently abled. How many of our facilities and, our hotels and stuff really do have differently able access, because they also enjoy vacation. So as I said, there's this opportunity for us to really sit down and sit with each individual operator in this space, look at the property that they have or look at the offering that they have and say, how do we elevate this experience for the guests? And that is some work that we'll be doing this year.
Very good, Miss Boris. Now, before we continue the conversation, viewers, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Just remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 GB fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates, guys. I'm here again in studio with my colleague Luke James.
Yes, Janelle.
And we are continuing our Beneath the Surface series. So, Luke, for you this morning, when it comes to tourism and youth involvement, I know that you are very heavily involved in youth involvement.
Correct.
And we have seen a number of young persons being able to be involved with tourism and have their say. What are some of your perspectives when it comes to the importance of us as young persons working as well, along with the division and the secretary, to ensure that youth have their say where tourism is concerned?
Well, Chanel, you know, I currently serve as CARICOM Youth Ambassador for the country, and it allows me to always be baptized in regional understanding. So usually when we travel to other Caribbean islands, Antigua, for example, they have this strategy where they are able to integrate their tourism into every single thing that they do. So the smallest events are going to boost their arm to tourism. The littlest thing you can think about, Chanel, they're going to use it to promote Antigua's and tourism. And it brings me to question you now, Secretary. We are anticipating an airport to be rolled out very soon. Open very strong arguments is that no regular tourist is going to book a flight just to come see an airport. It all comes down to the experience they get when they exit that airport terminal and start to explore the island of Tobago. Now, I understand that you have also been able to, you know, baptize yourself in regional understanding and see how other islands use their tourism and market their tourism and promote their tourism. Recently we saw in Antigua when they had the International Conference to Small Island Developing States. While internationally that was a conference to really boost governance, Antigua was able to use it to boost their tourism.
Yes.
So how can we see some of those strategies rolling out in the island of Tobago?
So you've asked a couple things in one question.
Yes.
Right? So let's touch on the airport. you know, we all know how that project went down. You know, and it still has left a sour taste in the mouth of some persons in the southwest of the island. And, you know, this is another demonstration that, you know, Tobago really needs to get this self-determination, because a project of this size taking place on the island, almost $1 billion in expenditure. The Tobago House of Assembly should have been a partner at the table when this was being executed, because you talk about a correlation between building an airport and the product. So what we have is we have an airport. We can't tell the people to rip it and take it back where it come from, you know. But what was done to really invest in boosting the product that is on island? And I could tell you what was done. Nothing. The reason why I can say nothing is because obviously I sit in the chair. COVID grants. We had two tranches of a COVID relief grant program, of $50 million for accommodation providers and a $50 million for ancillary service providers. That was it. There's a TOP program that has been announced. We have gotten no funding for that program for this fiscal year. So even though the program exists and people can apply, we cannot dish out funding that we did not get. So that for me, the lip service that we continue to pay to the tourism sector is very, very disappointing. Yes, we knew what happened to Sandals. The Sandals deal fell through. But we can't continue to look at that closed door that is Sandals and ignore all the other people who have been in this space toiling, good times, bad times, economic downturn, economic upturn. I feel like if those people have been neglected. So at the level of the Tobago House of Assembly, one of the policy decisions that we actually took this fiscal is a program that we're going to be rolling out in collaboration with the Division of Finance, which is through their business development unit, where the focus is on grant funding and loan funding for tourism-based businesses. When we initially announced that, and I had the conversation with Secretary Roberts, in that conversation we recognized that the tourism sector is not just traditional tourism businesses, but you have a number of creative sector businesses that feed into the tourism product. So now that program will also be extended to actors in the creative sector for the very first time in Tobago's history, where we're formalizing a policy where we're actually giving support to those of us who operate in the creative sector. So the people who are influencers, the people who are content creators, the people who even have mass bands, who have their businesses registered and they have their business bank accounts and stuff, you can now apply to that program for funding, whether it be grant funding or loan funding, to be able to grow and scale your business. Because we recognize that regardless of what the central government does, we have to mind our business in Tobago. So that the plan is to try our best to get people ready for the expected influx. In addition to that, we are not waiting on the central government to go out there to negotiate flights on behalf of the destination. We have already started those conversations with a number of different carriers in this space. And we're attending routes next month in the Bahamas alongside a team with the Airports Authority. And we anticipate to have over 30 meetings with airlines and tourism boards and other partners in this sector. And we're looking to really position Tobago as an attractive airport for planes to fly. So part of what we have to chew gum and run and walk at the same time. While things are happening with respect to the airport being commissioned, we have to get our people ready for the opportunities that would come. So it's not just people who have hotels and bars and restaurants. We're talking to the Airports Authority to find out how Tobago businesses can get a footprint in that airport, because we don't want to have this big major investment being made and there is no Tobago content in that airport. So those conversations continue, and we are hoping that they will be amenable to these things, because at the end of the day, everything that we do is to benefit the people of Tobago. That's the most important thing. So for us, you know, we look at the investment right now. This is what we have. We will try our best to make it work. We will try our best to do what we can do to make it successful, because nobody wants the destination to fail. Nobody wants to have this thing happen and then we don't get the influx of people that is expected. We will do our part, and we have been doing our part to sell the destination. When you talk about what the other Caribbean islands are doing in terms of focusing on MICE tourism, because what you've indicated is, you know, having these conferences, and while you're having the conference, you have people coming into the destination for the conference and then experiencing all that the destination has to offer. One of the challenges that we currently have is that we have a challenge with conference facilities. So even though we have a plant called the Shore Park complex. It is not necessarily purpose built for certain types of activities. And then you would find that the Magdalena Grant has been used a lot in the past to have conferences and stuff, but they also need extensive upgrades, because usually when you attract conference tourism, it's not just the conference room facility you're selling, but you're also selling the accommodation. So I've seen the RFP for Magdalena go out. I really hope that they're successful this time around in terms of getting someone to come in and really upgrade that property and really make it something of a world-class standard, so that we can go heavily into advertising Tobago as a MICE tourism destination. But, you know, the things that you talk about in terms of them selling the destination, everything that they do, whether it be you have an influencer, whether it be you have a festival, whether it be you have weddings, whether all of these things we are doing with our different stakeholders in this space. And I could talk about two examples. One, Alex Cassidy, I think you all know this British influencer who calls Tobago his home. His stepfather is Tobagonian, and he's been coming here since he was 6 years old. We took him out on some activities to be able to show him the undiscovered Tobago. So he's been coming here since he's 6, but there are places in Tobago that he's never visited. And we were able to take him to Twin River Falls in Goodwood. We were able to take him to Little Tobago Island. And he's been creating content to be able to showcase to his followers, to say, hey, look, Tobago, greatest little island on the planet, undiscovered, unspoiled, you know. And these are some of the ways that we are going in terms of getting some influencers on board, and different types of influencers who have different audiences on board with selling Destination Tobago. A second example that I would give you is wedding tourism. I attended the Coterie retreat in December in Virgin Islands. And, you know, I was able to, within 5 minutes, sell the beauty of Tobago to people who have never, most of them have never visited Tobago in their life. And I spoke highly about our culture and heritage, and the fact that you can have a wedding in Tobago, but you're able to immerse yourself in the culture and heritage. And one of the persons who attended that conference with me was Asha Maz, who is on the board of the Pigeon Point Heritage Park. And this weekend, there's a big Jewish wedding, a Jewish Tobago wedding that is happening in Tobago. And when you look at the size of the wedding tourism industry, when these people come into a destination, they are not just bringing the bride and groom and their families, they are bringing guests. All of these people have to stay somewhere. They are bringing, some of them are bringing service providers, some of them are using service providers here. But the average wedding, the average destination wedding is something in the region of 60,000, 50,000 US. It could go as high as 300,000 US, depending on what you're looking for. And these are niche markets that we're trying to appeal to, because we recognize that, particularly with that demographic of wedding planners, because the retreat was with wedding planners and service providers in the industry, they are looking for more exotic destinations to have their weddings. And Tobago presents the best of all worlds that they're looking for. Our proximity to Trinidad, the ability for us to bring in things in terms of importation, the fact that we do have service providers on the ground that could give them a very high quality and standard in terms of what they're looking for, the ambience of sun, sand, and sea, the variety of backdrops that they can have for a wedding, so that they could move from beach to forest to Flagstaff to underwater, you name it, Tobago has done it. And, you know, these are the places that we are looking at building focus on. So yes, we will sell sun, sand, and sea. Yes, we would sell event tourism. Yes, we will have our domestic market coming every weekend, regardless of what is happening in Tobago. But we really want to also focus on growing those niches. So we're looking forward to when the airport opens, that we're able to now offer that more MICE tourism type activities, as well as encourage more wedding tourism business.
Excellent. And even with that opening of that new airport, we look in the area of festival tourism. I remember in previous conversations between you and I, you indicated that when it comes to the Jazz Festival, in its previous form, it was unsustainable economically for the THA to continue to put so much money into the festival without seeing, you know, the revenue from that festival. So now the division has shifted into a model that is more of a public-private partnership to empower members of, you know, stakeholders to come to the division and to help to boost the festival and take some of that weight off of the division. But there has been some questioning around that. Yesterday we saw that you said that the festival has a budget of, I believe, $9.3 million for that festival. And you are hearing different things coming out from on the minority side, and persons are asking questions surrounding that festival. Who is the promoter? Why was this promoter chosen? What was the business plan? But are there any things that you want to clarify for Tobagonians when it comes to this festival where Buju Banton is going to be gracing the shores of Tobago come Easter?
So what I want to put out in the public space regarding that is, one, to firmly reiterate the position of this current THA, and this was enunciated by our Chief Secretary since April of 2023. That we will not continue with the Tobago Jazz Experience, because the Tobago Jazz Experience was a festival that was 100% funded by the Tobago House of Assembly. So that the last iteration of the Tobago Jazz Experience cost the THA something in the region of about $12.6 million. Don't quote me on the 0.6 part, but I know it's more than $12 million. And that was a business model that essentially the THA was coming in as 100% partner and taking in 100% of the risk for the execution of that festival. And the joint select committees that the TFCL was called to, because we had to appear before 2 joint select committees over the last 2 years where questions were asked about the Tobago Jazz Experience in terms of expenditure and revenue. It was clear that the Tobago Jazz Experience was not designed to create revenue. And we always talk about the fact that, it is there to encourage people to come into this space, to come to Tobago, to stay in hotels, restaurants, bars, etc. We feel like if that is something that we cannot continue, and we did make mention that this is something that we are looking at and we will not be able to continue, but we're looking at moving towards a model where the THA is not taking on 100% of the risk. So let me clarify. The questions in the House did not ask me about a promoter. There were 3 questions that were posed by the minority. 1, are we deviating from the policy that we put out there in terms of moving away from the TJE? Because I think they felt that all we simply did was abolish the TJE and bring this new thing called the Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival, and it's the same thing. And I answered that question. I said, no, we're not deviating from the policy. The policy is that the THA is not coming in 100%, that we are seeking partnerships with stakeholders, promoters, etc., to be able to host an event where the THA can come in with some risk and the other party or parties can come in with some risk, right? The second part of the question was the budget for the Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival. And I also answered that question. The budget was $9.3 million, and this is broken down over the 3 nights of activities and other expenses. So there's a budget for the gospel night, Melodies from Heaven. I think that's just under $1 million. There's a budget for the Buku Seafood and Jazz. I think that's $1.5 million. I think the budget for the fusion event, which Buju Banton is the headliner, the budget for that is $4 million thereabouts. And then there is money for all the other expenses, infrastructure, marketing, paying of staff, things like that. The Tobago Festivals Commission Limited is an independent company of the Tobago House of Assembly, and they are empowered to get into arrangements with anyone. And they have their process, and we are guided by the relevant policies. They are guided by the relevant legislation. They have a CEO, a very competent one at that. They have a board, a very competent one at that. So when the proposal, whatever that process was, because this secretary was never involved in the process, which is the rightful thing to happen. The secretary is not involved in the operations of the companies. We provide general oversight to ensure that the companies carry out the mandate. And the mandate of the Festivals Commission is to boost events tourism on the island through the hosting of their own events and partnerships with other persons in this space who are in the events tourism industry to be able to host their events. So whatever the process was, that went through the Tobago Festivals Commission, through the CEO, through the board. It was vetted by the CEO, vetted by the board. They accepted whatever the proposal was. And what that proposal essentially entails is that the promoter, that person, and there will be an opportunity for the CEO to be able to give more details as to what that process was and how that came about. But essentially, the promoter is treating with mainly that fusion night, which was Buju Banton. And it was felt that instead of just letting Buju come and there's a one night only, that we can build out something around that. And there's an agreement that whatever revenues come from this, and that is why I said the THA does not make any profit, because the THA as government does not make any profit on these things. It's the company that will make profit. So that whatever the arrangement is, whatever the contract is, because I don't think I'm empowered to give certain types of information, because obviously there will be contractual arrangements and you know, there's conversations about protocol and who's supposed to disclose and who has to seek permission to disclose. So currently I don't have permission permission to disclose, so I would not put myself in legal trouble. But who is empowered to disclose will make themselves available to disclose. But whatever the situation is, naturally it has to go through several iterations of checks and balances and accountability to ensure that all is above board. And I trust that the CEO and the board have done their due diligence. And in addition to that, it ensures that the THA is not coming in with 100% support. So we are not paying $9.3 million to a promoter. We are not spending $9.3 million. We are coming in with some risk, the promoter and whoever partners, because I did indicate in the House that how we are funding this activity, it's not through any additional request for supplementing of the allocation of the Festivals Commission, which is what happened with the Tobago Jazz Experience. So that 12 million that I told you that we spent in 2023 for the last iteration, that was additional monies that had to be found on top of the allocation that they will get at the beginning of financial year to treat with all the things that they have to treat with. In this iteration, there is no additional money to be given to the Festivals Commission. They are hoping that for the first time in our history that this is an event that can make profit, so that whatever the gate receipts are, whatever the sponsorship is, whatever the financing options that the company has available to them to be able to allow themselves the opportunity to get on board with sponsors and get on board with service providers very early in terms of providing goods and services to execute the thing, that this will be an event that makes profit. So I'm putting out a disclaimer now. The secretary does not have complimentary tickets for Bonjour. So don't even ask. We will all be paid for our tickets. And, you know, we really do...
Unless you're part of the media and you're covering the
well,
event.
you see, if you have media pass, then you're covered.
You will be covering the event.
You know, don't go to the area rep and expect that they have comps. No, this is not Jazz Experience. This is a profit-making activity. It's a profit-making event. And I would want the people of Tobago to certainly go out and support. I know Bonjour is near and dear to the hearts of a lot of us. And I know that the headliners that we've already announced, Shanak and Gramps Morgan, they have their fans and followings. I've actually heard that there are people coming as far as Malta to enjoy the concert. And that augurs well for that Easter period in advance. And early bird tickets are already sold out and the ticket sales are going solidly. So I want us to come out and really support this event. And I'll tell you, there are some surprises to drop a little later in terms of some of the other names that will be performing.
And look, we know that this is a period where members of the diaspora are always willing to come home for Easter. And so this is the time where everyone wants to come home. And when people come home, they're often asking, what is there to do in Tobago? So now that there is a festival that not only attracts Tobagonians, but it attracts persons within the region and helps to stimulate the Tobago economy, as we had that conversation about the Airbnbs.
Right.
If you have a space in your home, this Easter might be the time to fix up that storeroom.
Get your grant from BDU, your $25,000. And it's not just BDU we're talking to, but we're having conversations with NIDCO, for example, so that they are looking at where the funding gaps exist. So BDU may look at a particular cross-section of entrepreneurs in the space. NIDCO might be focused on a different set. But the idea is how are we getting systems and how are we putting things in place, starting programs and developing the partnerships to be able to grow this sector. And, you know, there's a lot of hand-holding that has to take place. Whether you're talking tourism, whether you're talking culture. And I'm going to make a plug for all of the talented Tobagonians. Please go out to the auditions because we want to see our local talent on stage at the Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival. But we see the potential in the creative sector in that orange economy. When you look at what TPAC has been able to achieve in the 3 years that they have existed, when you look at our community and cultural groups in terms of how they perform in Best Village, when you look at the quality of the Heritage Festival, the people who have always put out consistently high productions, and you know, right now planning for the Tobago Heritage Festival this year is well underway. We recognize that Tobago is a powerhouse when it comes to our orange economy. So the idea is on the back end, we are creating the policies. On the back end, we are providing support, and we are moving full steam ahead, in my view, in terms of being able to really show up and showcase the best of what Tobago has to offer, whether you're talking tourism or you're talking culture.
Excellent, Ms. Boris. So we're going to take a quick break, viewers, and we'll be right back. Just remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor. To wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong. And
morning, good morning, put a smile on your
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Welcome back to Beneath the Surface right here at Tobago Updates, and yes, we are chatting with Councillor Tashia Boris. Now, Miss Boris, going back to general elections, the whole island saw you, the whole nation saw you, the whole world saw you.
Oh gosh.
You know, you were the one advocating, you know, for the Tobago West seat. You were advocating for Tobago's autonomy. You really made your name under the then PDP. Well, PDP still exists, but when you were part of the PDP. And, you know, one thing we have gathered from doing these interviews is that politics, that whole arena, that whole field, it's very demanding, it's very challenging, and when you are exposed to those pressures, it can change you, or it will force you to be changed. If you were to sit down with 2019 Tashia and have a conversation with her, what are going to be the main varying perspectives we will hear coming out from that conversation?
Interesting question.
29, yeah, that's an excellent question. 2019 Tashia, listen, you couldn't convince 2019 Tashia that she wasn't going to be member of parliament for Tobago West Indies. It was like complete blinders. Like the Lord put me in this, and he wouldn't put me in this if he didn't intend for me to win. So that everything that I did was because I felt that that was the thing that was going to happen. And then when it didn't happen, like I remember standing up in the car park of Church's Chicken with my father. That the 2 nights before the election, and watching the horror unfold. I would put it like that. And because I had just come off the stage and I felt, yes, that was the best speech that I ever gave in my life. All Watson have to do is just bring it home. And then watching that horror, and it's like, and to this day, that man never apologized to me. So, but I don't hold it against him. I've forgiven him a long time for that, because I realized that in this thing, you have to constantly be in a place of forgiving people and accepting the apologies that you don't ever get. So that for me to her, I would say to her, because I know I went through a period afterwards where I really questioned my worth, you know, and it's hard because I think for my entire life, I've lived with this idea that someone outside of me had to validate me. So I had to do well in school because I wanted teachers to say that you're excellent and you did well. I had to take home good grades because I wanted my parents to tell me that you did well. You know, I had to, everything that I've done, it was always I felt like somebody had to tell me that I was good enough. And in that, I felt as if life was rejecting me. You know, because I don't blame the people, you know, there were so many people, as I said, that supported me despite what happened. And there are a lot of people who continue to support us despite what happened. But there were also people who came to me and said, I couldn't vote for you based on what happened. And I felt like if that was life rejecting me. However, if I have to talk to her again, I would say, don't give up, don't break, because you don't know where this journey would take you. You see something in front of you today and you assume that that is what it is. That's not what it is. We had to lose in 2020 because if we didn't lose in 2020, we wouldn't be in government in 2021. Everything had to happen the way that it did because, you know, I don't know what would have happened if Watson went into parliament. I don't know what that dynamic would have been. I don't know if we would have lasted as a duo, you know, because I have very strong thoughts and values, you know, I have very strong feelings when it comes to how we should show up when we represent. And for me, one of the things, aside from being able to forgive people, I have to forgive myself because I have very high standards for me. So even when I go into the division and something don't happen the way that I want it to, I have to go home not beating myself up, you know, because remember, you're not an island. You have to depend on an administrator. You have to depend on staff. And when you have to be the one who has to inspire and motivate people to work, and it might be the first time that they actually been forced to work in years, it's an uphill battle. So that everything that you go in there bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, hoping that it would happen because it's you, that's not what I meant. And every day is a battle. But I would tell 2019 Tash, don't give up, don't break. The faith that you started this journey with is the faith that would see you through. And one of the things that I've particularly been thankful for during this journey is that I got baptized in May of 2023. And I feel like if my faith has been even more strengthened, the first 2 years of being a Christian have been the hardest years of my life, but they have been the happiest years of my life because I have a peace that passes understanding. It doesn't matter what happens outside of me. And trust me, the weapons form, they're all over. They are unwashed and illiterate. They are AKA haters. They are always people who will always come into a space and try to make you feel as if you are less than. There are people who will come into a space and make you question what your talents are. There are people who will come into this space and try to discourage you. There will people come into this space and say the worst things about you that are not true. You have to find a way to not let that water get into your boot. And I'm not saying that I've always been strong. There have been moments that I've wanted to give up. There have been moments that I wanted to write that undated resignation letter and just have it sit down so that when I really had enough, I could just put the date and hand it in. But I thank God every day because I come from a space of just, as I said, being extremely grateful. I am grateful for my chief secretary and political leader, and we went to school together, so I've known him for so many years, simply having faith and courage in me to serve at this time, for giving me the opportunity to serve. I'm thankful to my team, to our colleagues, all of us, because we've been in this fight together and we support each other. We support each other in our divisions. We support each other on a personal level. I have seen so much growth in all of us over the last 3 years. And I look forward to watching everybody's journey. And for me, I don't know where politics is going to take me. I have not submitted papers to be considered as a candidate for Tobago West because I feel like if my journey has moved from that place, you know, I really appreciated the opportunity to offer myself to the people of Tobago. And I'm so very thankful for every one of you who has followed me and continue to, as I said, encourage me and pray for me. I hold that near and dear. And for whatever it's worth, you know, I am leaving behind, I think, a very strong legacy for anybody who comes in the chair after, because I don't know what the future holds. But I certainly know that Tobago's tourism is in better hands. Its culture is in better hands. We're putting some systems in place to support our young people. We're improving our sites and and facilities, and I'm excited to roll out some of that stuff later this year. We're launching our Dr. Cat Scholarship Program. So now we're sending people to go and study in the sector to be able to come back and contribute in a real way. We have our very strong partnerships with IDB to have our regional internships, strong partnerships with our cruise partners. Tobago has an excellent reputation at the level of the CTO. We have a platform in the Caribbean and the ear of many tourism ministers throughout the Caribbean we have put Tobago on the map in their eyes. And I'm very proud of the work that we have done. And, you know, as I said, gratitude is a must. It is the thing that I go out in front with every single day. And I just continue to be guided by the Most High in everything that I do.
Understood. And I mean, there are so many questions left to be asked. You know, there are so many things that we still had on the order paper bring in this morning. But unfortunately, we are out of time. I mean, we wanted to touch on so many areas in terms of entrepreneurship and young persons feeling empowered to come to the division with their ideas. And, you saying that it was something that you were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed about, but even in your own Christian faith, we hear them saying delays, not denial. Exactly. So maybe it's just God pushing back the time for you. So maybe we might see you still being the representative.
Listen, if the Lord tell me in the morning I need you to go and fry chicken in KFC, I will be the happiest chicken fryer, giving the best service on the greatest little island on the planet. And I want to leave something with Tobago this morning. We have to become fiercely loyal to this island called Tobago. This is not about who you need to vote for, who you feel you're following, because at the end of the day, we know what good leaders look like. What is important is that we as a people, we as a Tobago people, understand that in this time, we have to get it right. We can't take another 40 years to bring home this thing called autonomy. We can't take another 100 years to realize our self-determination. This generation of people who had access to education, had access to GATE, had access to all kinds of learning, and even have access to learning now. You can pick up your cell phone and you can learn almost anything online now. We are the generation that has to bring this home. And I want us to rally behind this administration. I want us to rally behind the Tobago People's Party, because I can tell you that you have a bunch of people who have Tobago's best interests at heart. We didn't come into politics to get rich. We didn't come into politics to see what politics could do for us. We felt that in this time that we had to serve, and it's all about service. And we're not going to always get it right, but always remember that we have Tobago's self-interest center stage at heart every day, every morning we wake up, in whatever we do. And now is the time for us to say Tobago needs to stand up. We need to be counted. We need to be able to say to those across the waters, we are ready to take our place next to you. And we're not walking away with anything less than that. Yes? So we just have to support one another. We have to be the ones that, this phone here just telling me that, it's time to wrap up. We have to be the ones to bring this victory home. And I want the people of Tobago to know that the Tobago People's Party, regardless of who the nominees are, regardless of who the candidates are, we have to bring this victory home for the people of Tobago.
Understood. And Ms. Boris, I think this morning's interview was an extremely thought-provoking one. We were able to see a side of you that we don't usually see. I was scrolling through social media sometime and people refer to you as a tigress. So, I was expecting to see some, I was expecting to see some, strong, loud attitudes. But
no. Listen. The beautiful thing, and it's not the tigress, it's the lioness.
Oh, yes, my bad.
Because it's all the rats, right? And I still have it, and it's the beautiful, I think it's the most beautiful part of me, I think. And my smile, I have these beautiful dimples and stuff. But the lion is capable of quiet strength. And that is what I appreciate about the analogy. That even though the roar is loud, because when a lion roars, they announce their presence. Lions also have quiet strength, that when they show up, a lion doesn't have to announce their presence as a lion. They walk into the room and they're a lion. And that is what I appreciated. And, again, people of Tobago, wherever you are, lots of people in the diaspora all over the world, you have made me into who I am. And I continue to be who I am because of you. And everything I do every day is because of you. And I'm simply, again, as I said, gratitude is the word for me.
Understood. So we want to thank you so much for your time here this morning, and thank you for answering the hard questions.
Yes.
Behind the scenes, she told us, ask me the hard questions. So we tried to bring the questions here this morning. And guys, we want to thank you so much for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, we want to say thank you so much, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
The energy filled the sky.